Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, I will show you how you can add a test set in test lab module and how you can add your test cases to that test set. Okay, to create a test set, first let's go to the test lab module. So when you want to run any test case, you have to do it from test lab module, and you need a test set. Under the test set you have to add your test cases, and from there you can run your test cases. But before that, if we want to do further organize our test set, we can create new folder. So as you can see, some of those folders are already listed here. So we're going to create another folder, which will we name it release 10.7. So if you click this new folder button, and then you have to give a name for this folder, release 10.7. So to do the further organize this test set, I want to create another folder under this release 10.7 folder. We call cycle 1 folder. So this way we can further organize our test set. So now I am to create a test set under this cycle 1, but before that, what I am to do, I want to link this cycle 1 folder to cycle 1 the kit created earlier. So for doing that, when you click this cycle 1 folder, you can see this option, assign to cycle. Select this, and this will give you this select cycle pop-up window. Then browse the release that we created in earlier tutorial, which is release under release 10.7 created cycle 1. So you select this and click OK. Now you can see this icon is changed. There is a cycle icon on this folder, so that which means this cycle is already associated with the cycle 1 we created earlier. So there now we can easily track our progress. So we can also if any changes happen, or we execute any test cases, anything passed or failed, everything going to be updated. We can track it from dashboard, or you can check the analysis coverage. Okay, so this one is already linked with cycle 1. Now this folder is linked with cycle 1. Now let's add a new test set. So here is the icon, new test set. When you click this, it will ask for a name. Name is a mandatory field, so you have to provide a new name. So provide any meaningful name. I'll say new test set. So I have new test set, and the type is default. Here we only have this type default option available. You may have some other option like functional or performance based on your version of your ALM quality center. So here we have ALM quality center enterprise edition. There are other version of this ALM application. You may have ALM for performance center. Based on that, you may have different option here, but here is default, means you can add both manual and automated test script under this test set. But here we have only manual test case, so we don't need to worry about anything. So default is fine. You can add any closing and opening date, but it's not mandatory. And you can see the cycle 1 is already assigned here. Then if you click OK, so now you can see the new test set is created. Now next step is we have to add our test cases to this new test set. So to add our test cases, you have to click this button. It says select test. So when you click this button, you will see a panel open here, and you can see the same folder structure you have for test plan. You can see it here. And if you remember, we have created our last two test cases under user account folder. If you browse it, you can see we have login with an existing user account, and register new user, these two test cases here. So we want to add these two test cases to this test set. So the concept of test set is like you um, you will only add the test cases that you want to execute for this a specific run. So you can create multiple tests based on your requirement, like if you have sanity or regression or full test run based on that. So this test set is giving you option to create a subset of your full set of your test cases. So you can run selected test cases for your different purposes. So here we want to run only these two test cases. So this new test set will only contain these two manual test cases. So after you select this test case, you have to click this button as test to test set. Now we can see this test case is already added here. Now we want to add the other one. So select the test case and again click the add test to test set button. So as if you remember earlier we added two parameters, so you can just see this message popped up here. So click OK. So now you can see these two test cases are already added. Just for your information, you can also add your test cases based on your requirement as well. But here we only did it with our this test from this test plan tree. Okay, so when you are done adding your test cases to your new test set, you can click this cross button, and that close button will close that panel, and now you have your those two manual test cases under this new test set. So so with this we come to the end of this tutorial, and so in this tutorial we learned how to create new folders in test lab, and then how assign a folder to a cycle. Then we created a new test set, and then we learned how to add the test cases to a new test set. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.